Chase, obviously, the second half was a really strong 45 to result in this draw, but it started with the set piece to get a goal. How important was that goal just to create some energy and some run and play and continuity?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do what we did and spot a team 2 goals, especially off 2 set pieces. We talked about it at halftime, but again, I think the game's very different if going into halftime we're down 2 goals still. So to get one before the break was, I think, vital. Kind of gave us that momentum we needed going into halftime, and then from there we definitely turned things on in that second half and created a number of chances. Got one. Obviously, we wanted more, but we'll take the tie and we'll move on.
Were the conceded goals more tactical, more mental, just unfortunate bounces? What would you attribute those to?
Oh, it's definitely more mental. There's no doubt about that, and that's what we talked about at halftime. You can't spot a team 2 goals. It was simply, set pieces to me, a lot of times are about the desire and the attitude to go and win the ball, put your body on the line, and I think that we lacked that a little bit in the first half. So,
how important was it that goal that you did get in that first half was back on that set piece, again, showing that the desire completely had a 360 effect?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, as we talked about, so we played Robert Morris in the spring, lost on a set piece goal, gave up 2 today, and then obviously got one back of our own, which is a nice one to get. So, again, set pieces change games. We know that, and we've got to make sure we're on the positive side of it moving forward.
How important was it, obviously, that the guys, you talk about bend, don't break. It would have been easy to reflect on last year when things pinballed in a short time, but for them to have that maturity and to have that response this early in the season says what about your collective?
I mean, it's, again, I know we have some new faces in the group, but there's a lot of experience in this squad, and I think the spine of the field, brought a lot of it today, and really, again, that bend but don't break mentality was on, I think, full display. And but again, you look at the guys that are wearing the armbands, you look at the guys in our leadership group, and they're all fighting, and they all have that desire to help us, get across the finish line.
The goal, the hard-working goal was Ronnie's, who's really been working hard the last 2 games, especially. For him to be the one to put the ball in the back of the net and just willing to throw himself out there says what to you?
I mean, it's awesome, right? So those are the moments you want in soccer or any sport, right? Is the guy's coming off of 2 years of barely playing due to injury and finds up with the game-tying goal. That was an awesome moment. And then the assist came from a guy who hasn't seen the field in a while as well. And so it was just really nice to have those 2 connect for that goal.
Another intangible thing, it seemed like when Marco came in that first half that the ball started to move and you guys started to attack. He was a kid that had a lot of potential before that injury last year. Just what did you like with that attentiveness and that desire that he's shown?
Yeah, he's really dynamic, and then I think when you add that into the squad, especially when the defenders are starting to get tired, it's one of those things you want from guys coming off the bench, the ability to change games, and I think that he was able to provide a bit of a spark.
Yeah, you mentioned how difficult it was to keep a good mentality in the first half. What did you tell your team in the locker room in the second half on how to adapt and change after giving up those early 2 goals?
I can tell you part of it. I don't know if I can tell you the other part, but
But
no, to be honest, it really was a moment of just reflection and just talking about, how can we limit those opportunities in the future and put our body on the line? How can we sacrifice more in those moments? And it's one thing, again, the best possession teams in the world, the teams that want to play and get the ball on the ground, you're nothing if you can't keep the ball out of the back of your net. It doesn't matter. So with that again, we say, with that pressure comes, as there's privilege with that. So you've got to own that pressure, and you've got to be willing to do the little dirty things at times that kind of allow you to play the way you want to play.
Also, in the first half, a lot of the game was played in your defensive zone. How were you able to kind of keep your team's mentality up and keep their confidence up when they were kind of getting boxed out a little bit on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, the nice thing is we have a lot of belief in ourselves. We know we can do it. It's just where's the momentum at? And soccer's a funny sport that way. If things can. You can clean a few things up at halftime. You can bring a couple tactical things back in, a couple reminders, because second half was definitely more indicative of our style and what we want to do. And I think that we had the momentum, so it was good moments.
This stretch to the season was very similar in terms of layout to an A10 schedule. Now you have almost a week in between games. How important do you think that is early in the season to now have that chance to correct some mistakes and just watch the film and break yourselves down to be a better group?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely vital, right? You need those times to kind of reflect. We'll go back, we'll watch film, can we reflect on it? What can we learn about the group? What can we add in? And then again, it gives the guys that maybe didn't get as much time as they wanted or no time at all so far, it gives them an opportunity to show us what they can do over this next week and really push for time. So it's those moments are really nice to have, and can we keep the intensity levels high? Can we keep it as game-like as possible for this week and go into Canisius and see what we can do?
Piggybacking off of that, you also mentioned just things are earned in practice, and that was clearly shown with some lineup changes as well today. Just how important is it to let the guys know that anything is always up for grabs, something you've always had as a principle, and just because we win a game doesn't mean we can be better as a side?
Yeah, I mean, it's vital. The team has to understand and have belief that the work that they're putting in is going to pay off. And obviously there's a couple guys that are more long-term goals with and some that are more short-term goals with. And so I think that's what it's the beauty of having the depth we have in this squad right now is it's a really good group and they all want to be out there. And what I told them, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I can't make 29 guys happy. It's impossible. So I'll do the best I can. And ultimately, as long as they're bringing it every day, they're giving me headaches, and that's a good thing.